So please imagine a young girl in late imperial China who is apparently facing lifelong disabilities and lack of mobility because in her country, small feet are considered feminine. Now please imagine a woman in the 21st century to whom it takes around 24 days per year to become a woman to be presentable in society, while this exact data is only 9 days per year for men. I believe that humanity's pursuit should be to rethink beauty standards in order to reduce any discrimination and much more regarding it. From these examples, we can see that beauty standards can be changed and were changed. This is Alice Joy, most attractive woman of the Roaring 20s. But I believe that with our 21st century gaze, we wouldn't conventionally find her attractive. She has quite a boyish figure, broad shoulders, a small waist, no emphasis on her curves, and quite a short haircut. On the other hand, here's Marilyn Monroe, most attractive woman of the 50s, who is probably more likely what we now consider attractive, with a small waist, a lot of emphasis on her curves, a bigger chest, and a longer haircut. So we can see that beauty standards can be changed, and from these changes, some people actually benefit, like Marilyn Monroe did, because it was quite beneficial for her to be the most attractive woman in the 50s, and big corporates, like Gillette at the days. Big corporates actually still benefit from beauty standards nowadays. That's why they're pressing these ideals on us. Here are two pictures from which you can see the double exploitation of women by corporates. On the one hand, both of these women, these particular women, are exploited because even though they are portrayed probably with their consent, they are used only for their bodies. They are totally objectified, and corporates only see their bodies as tools for gaining money. On the other hand, every woman is exploited through these two advertisements as well, because these advertisements create a very binary world. We have one box which is portrayed to your left, the box that is absolutely avoidable at all costs, and the other which is portrayed to your right, the one that we should strive to reach. This is the ideal state for women. But we have the problem. Now, what should be the possible solution? I envision this solution as a fusion of two ways, one of them being the legislative way, which might include advertisement control, and such as they did in the UK in 2019, where they introduced a law that forbids every type of gender stereotyping in advertisements. On the other hand, we should start raising awareness in schools and kindergartens to start this process at a very young age, through social media, because that's one of the most powerful media platforms we have right now, through press, so that we can see inclusivity in press coverage. So, for example, seeing all types of body types on the cover of Vogue, and not just Marilyn Monroe's. And and the curriculum of schools and kindergartens, which I mentioned already. So, you've already seen this prompt, humanity's pursuit should be to rethink beauty standards, but when you first saw it, you probably associated this with something linear, like the change between Alice Joy and Marilyn Monroe, or maybe a bit more inclusive, but still. However, that was not my intention. That was not what I tried to imply. Because if beauty standards still change, the problem still stands. I think we should change the whole structure of beauty standards in order to reduce the pressure on women and basically on society altogether. For this, you actually have so much more power than you think you do. Imagine a young girl just starting to get comfortable in her own body and suddenly seeing all this pressure on her, society weighing on her shoulders. Now imagine yourself listening to her voice. Maybe even amplifying it if you can, but that's not necessary. What necessity is that you listen to her and validate her feelings. tell her that beauty standards are basically never about beauty, because they can be about political power, religious power, and money, but basically it is never about your appearance. It is about corporates, and it is about benefits. And now, imagine yourself telling her that it is not her fault, it is not her appearance that is at stake or in question, but basically, really, everything else. And now that you've imagined it, please do so.